Now that we have covered the bones of the face, let's get into the muscles of the face. And the muscles of the face are important. They move the lips. The lips are important for production of speech. But also, these muscles are important for facial expression, which is a large non-verbal part of communication. And also the muscles of the face, the muscles of the lips. This is important for how we are able to chew food without that food falling out at the front of our mouths. So these muscles, they're important to the understanding of chewing, handling your food, facial expression for communication, as well as using your lips as mobile articulators for speech. And here is the list of muscles we're going to cover, muscles of the face. So there's a couple of features of the lips that I want to point out to you guys. First of all, the shape of the upper lip right here. This is known as Cupid's bow. So you can see if we turn the lip sideways and outline it, it looks like a bow, as in a bow and arrow. It looks like the little recurved bow that you see all the images of Cupid running around with. Also, that ridge or that indentation that runs from the medialmost section of Cupid's bow up to your nose is referred to as the philtrum, P-H-I-L-T-R-U-M, philtrum. So the first muscle we're going to talk about is the orbicularis oris. And there's actually two of them. There's a superior and an inferior. And this is the muscle. These are the muscles that lies beneath the soft tissue of the lips. And it basically forms a circle. And so when that orbicularis oris tenses, it creates a seal of the lips. It pushes the lips together and it puckers the lips. So the orbicularis oris is important for maintaining appropriate labial seal. That means an anterior seal, which also means keeping your lips together. So if you're going to make a P phoneme or a B phoneme, you got to be able to bring and push your lips together. That is the orbicularis oris. While you're chewing your food, you keep your lips sealed to keep food from coming out of your mouth as you're chewing. That is the orbicularis oris sealing your lips. When you bring a straw up to your lips and your mouth seals around the straw, that is the orbicularis oris. So you do have a superior and an inferior one, but generally speaking, we talk about them as one structure. So don't refer to them as the plural orbicularis orises. No one will really understand what you're talking about. It is just the orbicularis oris, and it is this circular muscle. You can see it here. And we scroll down here a little bit. You can see it here. So it is responsible for sealing the lips, for the labial seal. So the next muscle we're going to cover is the risorius. And looking at this image here, you can see that is reaching down to insert into the face down around the corners of the mouth. So when that contracts, it is going to pull the corners of the mouth back. So the risorius is responsible for helping to retract the corners of the mouth. It's not the only muscle that does that. It's one of them. So the risorius facilitates retraction of the corners of the mouth, and that is smiling. So risorius, think retracting the corners of the mouth, helping to smile. Beneath the risorius is a muscle that is referred to as the buccinator. And the buccinator is, historically, they refer to this as the bugler's muscle. And the buccinator is the muscle of the cheeks. It's referred to as the bugler's muscle because when a person is playing a bugle, the cheeks have to be tensed to keep their cheeks from ballooning out. So if we look at this girl playing the trumpet, you see that her cheeks are tensed. They're not up and inflated. So the buccinator is that muscle that tenses the cheeks. When you tense the cheeks as you're chewing to keep food from gathering, collecting in the buccal cavity, you tense your cheeks during the production of pressure consonants, so p and b. And I explained the importance of this in the previous lecture when I was talking about the buccal cavities. You need to be able to keep your cheeks tensed as you articulate to appropriately form pressure consonants, because if your cheeks are flapping as you're talking, that's going to give you abnormal resonance and it's going to give you abnormal articulation. So that is the buccinator. So orbicularis oris circles the lips, labial compression. Risorius inserts into the corners of the mouth, so retraction of the corners of the mouth for smiling. Buccinator, compressing the cheeks for mastication purposes and for speech. The next three muscles we're going to talk about, it's easiest to learn them as a group. These are the muscles that elevate the upper lip. So if you're going to elevate the upper lip, you have to reach down from above to insert into the upper lip. And that's exactly what these three muscles do. You have the levator labii superioris alecki nasi. This is the most medial of these three muscles. So it is the muscle that is the most vertical on your face. And by the way, that is the longest name of any muscle in the human body. That's a fact. So the most medial of these muscles is the levator labii superioris alecki nasi. And then if we come a little bit more laterally, there is a muscle called the levator labii superioris. Both of these muscles begin with the words levator labii superioris. Levate the superior labii, so to lift the upper lip. So that's self-explanatory in a way. The next muscle, if we continue laterally, you have levator labii superioris alecki nasi, levator labii superioris, and the next one that is more lateral to these is the zygomatic minor. And all these muscles work together to elevate the upper lip. And this is my daughter doing this weird thing with her lip where she can elevate the upper lip in a way that it creates this crease right there. And I'd never really seen anyone do that. And then I had a student that was able to do that. So she sent me a picture. So looking at this image, you see straight up and down, levator labii superioris alecki nasi. And then a little bit more laterally, you have levator labii superioris. And a little bit more laterally, you have zygomatic minor. You can see how if these muscles contract, they are going to work to pull the upper lip up. And obviously elevating the upper lip is something that you do when you talk, but for facial expression, it comes into play when you are wanting to exhibit a look of disdain or a look of anger. So this is when you curl your lip. So the next muscle is the levator anguli oris. This is a muscle that originates more medially and then courses down from the medial part of your face to insert into the corners of the mouth. So if we were to look at it here, it is this right there. And you have a right and a left, so there would be one over here as well. So levator anguli oris. This is a muscle that is going to levate the angle of the oris. The angle of the oris meaning the corner of the mouth. So if I highlight them here with this red ink, I say this is where this muscle is. You can see that when it contracts, it is going to elevate the corners of the mouth up immediately. So this is a muscle that comes into play for smiling as well, but more for smiling like this, right? You're not really pulling the corners of your mouth way back, you're more pulling them up and together. So it's a different facial expression. The last elevator of the lip we're going to talk about is the zygomatic major. And this is the one you can think of wholeheartedly as the smile muscle. This is the one that is responsible for retraction of the corners of your mouth in a way that is going to give you a nice big smile. So looking at the zygomatic major here, you can see if it's at this angle, then that is going to really pull the corners of your mouth up and back. So we have zygomatic major, you have the levator anguli oris, you have the levator labia superioris alecinasi, as well as the levator labia superioris zygomatic minor. These are all elevators of the upper lip, although they pull the lip in different directions, and you can see that based on the angle at which they connect into the orbicularis oris.